Hello, my name is Jeff Newland, and I work for Lott Brothers Construction Company, and this is PlanGrid training for subcontractors. So we're going to run through PlanGrid because a lot of the things that we hear from subcontractors is that they're asked to use PlanGrid, but nobody ever shows them how. So I'm going to provide several resources here that'll enable you to be successful when using PlanGrid for our projects. PlanGrid is a contractual requirement. You are to use it. So that's part of my purpose here is to help you. So anytime that you have, once you have been contracted by us, I will add you to our team, or you will be added, and this applies for any of our projects, but you're added to the team that's on PlanGrid, and you'll get an email that's very similar to this. Basically, it says, this is how you join, and when you click this link, it'll bring you to the PlanGrid page. You can do this from any of your devices or a laptop. So you simply plug in your first name, your last name, your email address, and your password. And that is actually setting up a password. So, and once you click sign up, it'll bring you to a tab that says my title, give a place for you to put your phone number, your company name, company type, and industry. As we can see, I've filled it out here as a template for ABC Construction. I've got my phone number there, and I'm a project manager. And then it'll ask you, do you want to start a new project or do you want to start a sample project? It does not matter which one you pick, because once you're added to our team, it's going to show up in the our project, which is Coleman County Medical Center, will show up on PlanGrid. So I'm going to go into my web browser here and into PlanGrid. Just get signed in. Okay, so once you do that, it'll bring you to this page, and see I selected sample project, and it just added a sample project down here that you can play with and roam around in. We're actually going to look at the Coleman project. So here you can see I've got 11 days remaining in my free trial. PlanGrid is a subscription-based service. Something that, and it does cost, you can probably, if we're the only client that you have that is using PlanGrid, then you can get away with the annual rate for a nail gun is their sheet limit. It's 550 sheets. We shouldn't go over that on this job, so it'll be $468 for the year. You can share the subscription. It just kicks people off. So if you've got somebody in the field that's working and they're logged in, if you log in from an office or somebody else logs in from the office, it will kick you out. Okay. However, that is how a lot of subs, they just have, we have one login name. You can have, as many as you want. Most of our tasks that we'll go into in here in a minute, you can only assign to 2 people. So it doesn't really do us a whole lot of good to have more than 2 contacts. Vast majority of subcontractors just have 1. So here on the home tab, it just kind of gives our target completion date, gives you some weather information, gives you some items here that have been recently updated. Project address is here. So you can go to Sheets. All right, and in here are all of the plan pages, all the current plan pages for our project. So an important thing to look at is the filter by. So instead of you can see 144 sheets total down here at the bottom, and it's only showing 1 of 100. So if you are an electrician, for instance, and you just want to look at the electrical plans, you can click on electrical, and it only shows you those electrical plans that are uploaded. Same thing for all the disciplines. If there's a discipline listed over here, it is just those sheets when you click on it. Mechanical, plumbing, structural, it's all the same. So an important thing to look at is we'll take this page S101. When an addendum comes out, or excuse me, when an ASI comes out, you will be able to, PlanGrid allows you to be able to very easily compare documents. So here we're going to compare this sheet. So let's say that this addendum C that I had was an ASI. So this is an ASI that came out, and I wanted to compare it to my last revision, which was addendum A. So I can just click that and then click compare. And it's going to show me the addendums, the C, which would be our new ASI, is going to be in red. And then the previous revision is in blue. So we can see immediately that this area here has changed. And then if we scroll over here, we can say that this looks to be a little bit different as well. We can turn this off. There we go. We can turn the previous, so that's what it looked like before. That's what it looks like now. So you can see that they were nice enough and they did cloud the changes for us. So now we can determine that, okay, that's what we need to be looking for as far as our bidding goes. And we can exit this and we can zoom in here and dig into it a lot further. So that's a very useful tool when you're comparing drawings from a previous version. And this is how we will issue the ASIs. We will upload them into PlanGrid and then send out links that will enable you to download. You can download them. You can include your own published markups. So let me give you an example of markups. While we're talking about markups, please do not publish any markups to the project. I ask that because we've run into that in the past, and when multiple subs are publishing stuff to the project, it really starts to clutter the drawings. So, but if there's something that really needs to be on there, let us know. We'll make the markup, or we'll give you permission to publish it. But as far as your personal markups, you can make as many or as few as you want. Here again, this is something that we use to track our utility progress. So we'll pretend that these are personal markups that you'll see here, but it actually tracks exactly what has happened since our first day of mobilization here, 121, to all the way until yesterday, 2/2. So there'll be new notes working over here because that's where the guys are working today. But when you download these, I can choose to download it with these notes or without. If I select without, if I take that out of the checkbox, I'm going to download the original drawing, no markups on it or anything. So this could be something that's very useful if you want to highlight items for your guys in the field, and then be able to show them, maybe give them some project specific stuff. Okay. So that was the download, sheet information and filter. Filter, you can just, you can filter by all this stuff. Really, we only filter by published to project. So we can take that off, and it takes all of our markings off that were published to the project. Or if we had personal markups, it would take those off as well. Or you can hide everything. Okay. All right. Let me show you one more thing in Sheets. So if you've got a set of drawings that you want to send to a vendor, so let's say that you're a mechanical sub and you're sending this to your, sheet metal guy. I want to send all of these. I can actually highlight them all, or click all the check boxes, click export. I want to take off the markups. I want them to have the original drawings, get shareable link. Now, this link here, I'm able to download all these drawings in one package, or I can just get a link. I can copy that link and then go into my email and just be able to paste that link, and then it'll actually show up in the body of an email. Okay, that's very useful. We send out drawings like that all the time. All right. Next, I want to look at tasks. This is going to be looking at it. We're looking at all this on the PC. So this is the PC side of it. Once I go over these tasks in here, I will also go over them. I've got the ability to be able to show what my phone looks like, what the mobile app looks like. So, and it is available for the phone and for a tablet. I believe both Android and iPhone. So in task, we've got an overview here, and the overview is essentially going to give you the different categories that we work in. By and for, we will use hot topics, constraints, work to be completed, and then we get over into owner punch list, handoff meetings, warranty, contractor punch, floor damage, that kind of thing. So we'll use these different categories, but these act just like categories. So if I'm inside right now, I've got all of my tasks that are open to me here. And we're seeing everything. But if say I wanted to just search, and I'll use Mr. Emmons as the example because we do have a couple of tasks that are assigned to him. I can just search by his name, and then say I only wanted to see the tasks that were open. It's going to be these same two tasks because we don't have a lot of items in here. But once we start going through the project and we start adding tasks, each of our projects has several thousand tasks. So these filters will become very, very handy, that you can sort by open, pending, or closed. Yeah, you can also sort by in review, but the way we're going to start this job is if the way the tasks are supposed to work, if you've got something, or if we've got something, like for instance, this is the transformer pad from the city. We need to know what size the transformer pad needs to be with the correct block out for the transformer. And Mr. Emmons was working on getting that. And I've made some comments here to kind of keep up with our progress on what we've been able to accomplish. But once Mr. Emmons, the task was currently assigned to him. Once, say, he sent a drawing to us and we're good to go, it's been solved. What he would do then is, instead of him being assigned, he would take his name off and he would type in my name and Ron, who's our superintendent on this project, and then save. And then once you save, I will automatically get a notification that says, hey, you've been assigned a PlanGrid task. And I'll be able to go on and read the latest comments and see, yep, that's absolutely correct. Mr. Emmons, he would also put it on pending. He would move it to pending because he's done his part. He needs us to look at it. Okay. At no time should any subcontractor do two things. One, never move a task to closed, because we need to review that beforehand, and never click delete. Do not ever delete a task. We can always close it, we can archive them, but we do not delete tasks. Okay. So I'm going to discard my changes here. Now let's take a look at what it looks like on the phone. So 1 second. Okay, so this is what the mobile app looks like. So you can see it's in the bottom right-hand corner. It's the blue icon right there. You can bring it up and it'll show all your projects that you've got currently listed. Coleman County Medical. Now, with the very first time that you log in on this, it's going to give you options for what you want to do. So, and actually, let's just do that. Let's remove from device, which is not a big deal. Okay, so I've got that in the cloud. I've already signed in. I'm on the PlanGrid app. I can click this and I see options or download. I can click options, and this is what I do because I don't necessarily want to have all the sheets available to me, nor do I want to have all the photos, documents, and snapshots all on my device, because it is housed locally. And it will take up a ton of room on your phone. So I go no sheets and I take all of those check marks off, and then I'll say start download. So now what it's going to do is it's only going to download the absolute bare minimum that I need. So then what you can do is you go in and you can individually download the sheets that you need or that you want to be on your mobile device. So we'll give this just a second. It's taking just a little bit to get it downloaded. While it's doing that, tell you what, we can go and all right, so let's take a look. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's look at RFIs real quick. You can submit an RFI on PlanGrid and you can submit it to us. That's not a problem. You can either submit it via email or you can submit it here. So let's say I had a new RFI. Let's title it Missing Plan Pages. We are missing pages. So whatever your very specific question was, you would put it here and you could actually attach photos, documents, or snapshots. And that would be your markups. Anything that you've drawn on the plans, anything that you want to share, and then you can say send to manager. So then what that's going to do is it's going to also send us an email and let us know that, hey, you've got an email here, or you've got an RFI that somebody wants to submit, and we can go on there and answer it and either read it, or excuse me, we can read it and answer it then, or we can distribute that out to the design team in order to get us an answer. So what you'll only see in PlanGrid are your drafts that you've done, or the RFIs that have already been answered and completed. Okay. And that's basically the extent of the RFIs. You can export all the RFIs. You can, when you go to export an RFI, we'll export the text and also any attachments that it's got. So, all right, we're going to pop back into the tasks here real quick. Okay, so we can see that the project has now been downloaded. So I'm going to click on it, and you see that none of the sheets are available to me. However, if I want to download one, like let's download that same C301. They're in alphabetical order. So I just click on that, and then you can see it pops right up, and it's already got all of the notes that have been published to the project on it. And I can go in and read them and kind of use this as a quick reference. What we were talking about earlier was tasks. So here you can see the same list of tasks. You can see the check marks over on the side. If it's got a check mark with a slash through it, that means the task has been closed. If it's got a check mark with just a check mark, that means it's still open. Okay, so let's look at that same transformer pad here, and we can see that that it's all the same notes. It is a little bit easier to add. Let's say we wanted to add a photo. We could take a new photo. Say we're in the field and we're making and we could take a photo right there, and it would attach it to this particular task. So let's do that. Another something that we can use this for is for constraints. Okay, we've got hot topics and constraints. A constraint is a scenario where you can't do something because somebody is absolutely holding you up. So to keep from getting a 48-hour notice, you would post a constraint. So we'll say unable, say you're a concrete contractor and you're unable to pour foundation. You would put that under issue, and then assign to, you're always going to put that to myself and Ron. That way we can immediately be notified of it. Select your location. We're going to build this with all the locations that are inside the building, room by room. So you'll be able to select exactly where it is. Let's just say it's an exterior right now. Due date, say I got to have this now. So it's set for today. List, You will need to put in, actually, there should be constraints should be listed here. And PlanGrid currently has a bug that it's not allowing that, but you would see it listed there. So then you would just click on constraints and say, okay. Put in it, and you put here, you would put your description. Unable to pour due to pad not being ready. Boom. And then you can even take a photo. So say you got a photo, you can, if you took the photos previous, then you can attach them here by saying select photo library, or you can select take new photo. You can even take a video. Videos are very powerful. And you can attach that to this and then just say, and once you're done, it's already been saved. You can see it already says unpublished, so it's already been published. And we will go, we're going to spell foundation correctly. And then we're going to go back, and then you can see it's right there. So myself and Ron would get an email immediately. And then from here, we would take this and probably have a conversation with our building pad sub. And then we would go in and change the assignees to whoever's doing the building pad. And then now that would be on their list. And then we cover all of our hot topics and all of our constraints in every single meeting. Okay, so once again, 2 things please do not do. Let's continue with our situation and say, okay, they've completed the building pad. So then it would take this and assign this back to Ron and I, because that's one of his open items. Back. Okay. And then we can add a comment. So we'll come down here to comments, and we can say building pad finished. And then we can add, we can post that, go back, and then your add photos and videos, you can take a photo of the new building pad. So wherever that pad's out there, you can take a photo of it right there. Okay, and that's kind of how the system's supposed to work. It's you guys assign everything to Ron and myself, and we'll distribute it out. And then everything is talked about in the meetings. All open tasks are talked about in the meetings, hot topics and constraints. While we've got the mobile app open, we can go ahead and go to field reports. Let's go to documents first. Documents is down on the bottom. So you can click this and click folders. And here are going to be all of the documents for this project. You can see approved submittals. Anytime you want to see an approved submittal, it's going to be here in PlanGrid. Building permit is right here. Any CAD files that we've got for the job that are there for your resources. Pre-installation meetings. Before you mobilize to the project, we'll have a pre-installation meeting with each one of you. And multiple trades. Schedules, this is where your updated schedules should be. So we've got our Gantt chart here, and then we've also got our interior matrix, and see it hasn't downloaded it yet, but you can do that just right here. Doesn't take but just a second, downloads it right here. And let's say that you're currently wondering, well, you know, when do I need to have my millwork on site? Well, currently we've got millwork scheduled for 11/8. So you know you want to be ready to rock and roll come October. You know, end of October, you need to be ready to ship out. Ceramic tiles, same thing. If you're wondering when you're going to start painting, you can utilize the matrix here. These are good dates to go by, as we do keep this updated as much as we possibly can. Let's go back. And then specifications. Of course, there's the spec book. That's the entire spec book for you to view. So bouncing over to field reports, this daily report for LBCC superintendent, that's only for our use. That's for our superintendents and myself to create daily reports. Anytime that you've got anybody working on the project site, you will have to fill out a job hazard analysis form. So you can just click there on the JHA form. You can see Mr. Dick Garcia here has done a real good job of keeping up with every day that he's been on site and that his crews have been on site. You can view this, and you can see this form is actually fillable. When you have a form that's not submitted yet, you can go in here and type all this stuff in and select your different hazards that you will encounter throughout the day wherever you're working, because it does have a location and an area. And then you can copy that. See, he had copied this from the previous day, because sometimes a lot of those hazards won't necessarily change day to day. But one thing you do need to be sure that you do is that you include the people down on the bottom that are working on site along with their hard hat numbers. We have job specific hard hat identification here. So once you watch a safety video, we give your workers one sticker, they put it on their hard hat, and that's what you use for that form. All right, something else that you could also utilize in sample templates is a daily safety inspection. You can see that Mr. Garcia is also doing that as well. And he basically has a checklist for all of his safety in his toolbox talks before the end of before the beginning of each day. So this is a great tool to have, especially if OSHA visits our job site. We're able to have all this stuff immediately at our disposal, and we can comply with any and all of their requirements. Okay. By clicking on the More button here, you've also got access to the team, the RFIs, the submittals we're not using on this project, and then photos, snapshots, history and comments. Like I said, I keep my mobile devices very slim on actually what gets downloaded, and I don't download it until I absolutely need it. So with that being said, let's move back to the PC. And let's cover just a couple of more things more in depth here, and then we'll be able to wrap this up. One second. There we go. Okay. So this is what the field reports look like when you're on the PC version. There we go. And you can see the very same thing here. Job hazard analysis, JHA forms, documents. This will be the exact same things that we just looked at on the phone. And of course, you can, just as I said before, if you want to take your approved submittals, let's say the mason wants to take his approved submittals and send them over to his vendor, he can just export these, and it'll provide him with a link that he can copy, and then send those right over, and then they'll be able to download them from PlanGrid. They don't have to have an account or anything. So it's a great way to be able to share information. As I said, submittals, we're not using this function of PlanGrid. We got our spec book late, didn't have all the sections in it, so it's easier on this job to keep them via the old spreadsheet. So that's what we're doing. And this isn't an overly large job with just hundreds and hundreds of submittals. So team, you can click on team, and this is where you will see all of the team members that are currently on PlanGrid, and their phone numbers and their names, and everybody's going to be a power collaborator or an admin for the most part. That it opens up a few more things that you can do. But so if there's somebody that you need to get a hold of, let's say that you need to get say you need to get a hold of Hill over at Bacher, then it's got his phone number right there. You can give him a shout. Okay. Also got an email address in case you need to send anybody an email. All right. Finally, there's the settings tab. Not a whole lot of happening here. Just another, got a start date and an end date. You do have bulk export options here that you could get all of the drawing logs or the current sets, or whatever you need from there. But I never come into settings. If I need a sheet or anything, I always go into just the sheets. So real quick, let's talk about the resources. So we have got you'll have this meeting has been recorded. This little tutorial session has been recorded, but you can also go to the PlanGrid website, help.plangrid.com, and they have hyperlinks to and searchable features to just about everything. So if it's specific that you want to learn about task lists or field reports or whatever the case may be, you can utilize this website here. Very, very, very user friendly. You'll also get a couple of different emails from PlanGrid once you sign up that ask you if you're happy with the software and or if you need any help figuring something out. I've worked with them. They're very useful. They're very helpful. And then finally, like I said, you can use me as a resource. We're going to be doing these trainings every other Wednesday for the first couple of months of the project. If you need some one-on-one stuff, feel free to come in the office when you're on site. We can do team meetings. I can share my screen with you individually. I really want you guys to be able to use this to everyone's benefit. It's everyone's benefit that not only somebody in the office knows how to run it, but whoever is your personnel in the field, they need to be able to use PlanGrid. So equip them with a tablet and some type of mobile device. It does get a little tough trying to do stuff every day on your phone. So a tablet is really great. We have internet in here that they're able to utilize if they need to. You can go out in the field and document stuff and then come inside and it uploads, once it connects to the internet. So that is certainly available for everyone. So once again, if anyone has any questions, my name is Jeff Newland. My email address is jeff.n@lottbrothers.com. And my phone number is 903-720-5896. If you need some help, shoot me a text. Let's set up a time. Let's go through it. Thank you.